Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into some really unsettling territory. We're talking about true accounts, encounters with beings that, well, they blur the line between what we think of as human and something else entirely.
Something monstrous, almost.
Exactly. Creatures that seem to look like us, maybe even sound like us, stalking people in the dark.
And these aren't just legends, right? These are first-hand reports.
Yes, stories told by the people who actually lived through them. We're focusing today on sightings of these unnerving humanoid entities, from deep woods to seemingly safe homes.
Yeah, stuff that really makes you question what might be out there watching.
Our goal here is to share these chilling stories and maybe look for some patterns. What do these accounts tell us about things that mimic the human form?
It's a terrifying thought, the idea of a predator wearing a human mask.
Let's start with this concept that crops up in some sources, the flesh gate. Now, it sounds a bit like a skinwalker, and there are similarities, sure, mimicking humans. But the sources we're looking at today often describe something maybe less refined, especially when encountered in places like forests.
Right, and the key thing for those familiar with the lore is this flesh gate concept often highlights the inexperience of the mimic.
How so?
Well, the accounts suggest they struggle, especially initially. They can't do long sentences. They rely on short, repeated phrases. It seems like they're still, studying us, learning.
Okay, that's creepy. And we see exactly that in this first story, a camping trip in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 3 guys. The narrator, Connor and Julian.
Right.
Deep in the wilderness. Night falls, they're in the tent, and they hear noises outside.
Animals, presumably.
That's what you'd think, but no. The sound was distinct, like a person walking nearby, stopping, almost like they were thinking, contemplating.
Ooh, that's different. That deliberate sound is instantly unnerving in the wild and implies intelligence where you expect instinct.
Right, so the narrator and Connor decide to check it out. They leave the tent. Julian stays behind. Nothing.
Yeah.
The sound stops the second they step outside. Just this unnatural silence all around them. They look around, find nothing, and head back.
Okay.
But when they get back to the campsite, Julian's outside the tent, just standing there totally terrified, staring into the trees where they just were.
Oh, no. What did he see?
He said he saw the narrator, or an exact double of the narrator, stepping out from the tree line.
A doppelgänger. Wow.
And this double, this mimic, it just kept calling to Julian, saying the same thing over and over. Hey, come here, look at this.
Just that one phrase?
Yep. Julian apparently challenged it, asked what it wanted, and it's just repeated the line, like a broken record.
That fits perfectly with the inexperienced mimic idea, the limited vocalization.
Exactly. And Julian noticed other things, too. He said his eyes were glazed over, blank, like a doll's eyes.
No life behind them.
None. And the movement was wrong. His head wasn't turning smoothly. It was jerking around erratically. He described it like a bird's does when it's keeping an eye out for predators or prey.
That jerky, unnatural movement. Another classic sign in these kinds of reports. It's the simulation failing to capture the fluid subtleties of biology.
It's those failures, the glazed eyes, the robotic voice, the bird-like head movement that probably saved Julian. He knew it wasn't his friend.
So what happened? How did it end?
The mimic only broke off and ran when the real narrator called out to Julian from behind it, basically shattering the illusion.
Wow. Close call. The real person's presence disrupted the fake one.
Makes you shiver, doesn't it? Okay, so that's the clumsy mimic in the woods. But what if they get better? What happens when this kind of entity shows up, not in the wilderness, but inside your house?
That's a much more terrifying scenario.
This next one is from Woodbridge, Virginia. Back in 2015, the narrator's at home. It's maybe late morning, and he's making breakfast. Some oatmeal, some eggs. His girlfriend is still upstairs, sleeping in. It's a 2-story townhouse. He's in the kitchen, and then he sees his girlfriend walk in.
Okay, quote marks noted.
Yeah. So she comes in, sits down at the table. He puts the food down for her. But here's the weird part. She's completely silent.
Not a word.
Nothing. He's chatting away, about some noise outside, how it's going to be a lazy day, just normal stuff. And she just sits there, listens, nods sometimes, eats the food, but totally silent.
That alone is incredibly unsettling, just the lack of normal interaction.
For sure. So they finish eating, and they both get up, walk towards the living room. He steps into the living room first, and he mentions their stairs are notoriously loud, old, creaky wood.
Important detail.
He stops in the living room, and he just gets this feeling, like heavy eyes watching him from behind, pure dread. And right at that moment, that exact second, he hears his real girlfriend's voice call down from the top of the stairs.
Oh, man.
Asking him if her breakfast is ready yet.
So the silent one downstairs wasn't her. It had come down those loud stairs without making a sound.
Exactly. He was standing between the kitchen and the stairs. You had heard her come down. But this thing, it descended silently, sat silently, ate silently.
That's a whole other level of mimicry, not just appearance, but mastering unnatural stillness, negating its own physical presence. That's terrifying. It implies it consumed the food, too.
Yeah, the implication is chilling. It wasn't tripped up by clumsy repetition this time. Its giveaway was the sheer impossibility of its silence.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From mimics trying to blend in to something, well, openly not human, but still humanoid.
Right, because these encounters aren't just limited to forests or houses. They happen out in the open ocean, too.
The sea has its own legends, for sure.
This one's from the mid-'80s, Chesapeake Bay. A crew was on a 41-foot sailboat doing a shakedown cruise, and they got absolutely hammered by a severe tropical storm, a real maelstrom.
Surviving something like that puts you on edge, hyper-aware.
Definitely. They made it through, thankfully. It was about 3:08 p.m. The storm had passed. Visibility was actually pretty good, maybe a couple of miles. The crew's on deck, probably exhausted but alert, working the lines.
Okay, setting the scene.
The narrator is looking off the starboard side, maybe 15 feet away.
Yeah.
And something swims up fast to the surface, breaks the water, looks right at them, and then just submerges. Gone.
Whoa. What did it look like?
Get this. He said it had the shape of a thin man. Humanoid form, articulated arms, but its head, which was human shape in its whole body, were covered in scales.
Scales. Like a reptile.
Exactly. He said thick snake-like scales, and it blinked at them with these weird heavy-lidded eyes before it just slipped back under.
A scaly humanoid sailor. That's bizarre. Did anyone else see it?
Well, that's the kicker. The narrator didn't say anything at first, and worried people would think he was crazy, seeing things after the storm.
Understand.
But just moments later, another crew member, a U.S. Navy captain with like 30-plus years experience, pipes up and says, basically, did anyone else see that brown thing? Like a lizard man with a scaly face.
Wow. Independent confirmation from a seasoned observer. That adds serious weight. It wasn't trying to mimic anything, just existed.
Yeah, bipedal, scaled humanoid in the middle of the bay.
Yeah.
It ties into so many old sea myths, but here's a modern corroborated sighting.
Proof that the fear of something human-shaped, but fundamentally not human, isn't just a landlocked phenomenon.
Okay, let's bring it back closer to home. That feeling. That deep late-night paranoia when you feel like you're being watched.
Everyone knows that feeling. Primal.
The story happens around 2:30 a.m. The narrator is in bed. Their sister, Sophia, is also in the room. They're just scrolling on their phone, window nearby. And suddenly this wave of just intense dread washes over the narrator. An overwhelming feeling of being watched, so strong they're actually afraid to look up from their phone, afraid to look towards the window.
That instinct again. Something's wrong.
Then tapping starts. On the window pane. Now, this window is over the garage roof, so it's not like someone could easily walk up to it.
Right, elevated.
At first they think, maybe a branch, maybe an animal. But it stops, then starts again. It only stops for good when the narrator finally speaks out loud to their sister.
The sound of their voice interrupted it?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Then, against all better judgment, driven by this weird impulse, the narrator forces themselves to look up at the window.
And what did they see?
They described it as a person, but not a person. Very blurry, indistinct lines, but definitely humanoid. The skin was gray. It had a sharp nose, but the teeth were like a dog's, sharp and matted dark hair.
Gray skin, canine teeth. And that's not human. Positioned outside a second-story window, just watching? That's deeply disturbing.
It gets worse. Sophia, the sister, looks over too, sees it, and gasps. And when she gasps, the figure apparently shifts and lets out a sound.
What kind of sound?
The narrator struggled to describe it, but said the closest thing was like the start of the Wicked Witch of the West's laugh, you know?
Yeah.
That hot, but extended, drawn-out cackling and just wrong, unnatural.
Oh, just imagining that sound is chilling.
And then instantly gone. As soon as the narrator flinched back, it vanished. Not like it ran away, just I wasn't there anymore.
Vanished instantly. That suggests abilities beyond just climbing onto a roof.
Yeah. Okay, one last account for this deep dive. This one takes us back to the woods, near an infamous graveyard in Nebraska. And it really highlights that gut feeling, that instinctual dread.
Those feelings are often your first line of defense.
Definitely. So a group of 6 friends trekking through thick woods around midnight near Homer, Nebraska. They're looking for some rumored spooky grave.
Okay.
Kind of asking for trouble, maybe.
Teenagers in midnight graveyards, a classic setup.
Pretty much. But things get serious fast. The narrator mentions feeling that instinctual dread first, the body reacting before the mind catches up, right?
Yes, the physiological response to unseen danger. Adrenaline kicking in.
They realize they're probably lost, and then they start hearing it. Rustling leaves, cracking twigs behind them, keeping pace with them.
They're being followed. Socks.
They start moving faster, break into a clearing. And that's when they hear cattle nearby, just absolutely freaking out, bellowing in terror. And then piercing through that, this sound described as an unearthly, ear-shattering scream.
Not animal, not human. Something else.
Yeah. Now they're properly terrified, convinced something is hunting them. They whip out an iPhone flashlight, scan the tree line.
What did they catch in the light?
About 30 yards away, behind a big oak tree, they see a head lean out. Just the head at first. It's described as blackish brown with bright, piercing yellow eyes.
Yellow eyes.
Then it quickly ducks back behind the tree. But they got to look at the head shape. Like a German Shepherd's head, but gaunt, emaciated. But the eyes and the mouth structure felt disturbingly human. And the narrator, who mentions being 6'2", estimated based on how high the head was that the creature had to be at least 6 feet tall.
So a German Shepherd-like head, but on a tall bipedal body.
Sitting upright.
Exactly. Standing on 2 legs, using the tree for cover, observing them, those yellow eyes staring out.
If you put that together with the creature at the window, the dog-like teeth there, a shepherd-like head here, you see this recurring theme, don't you? Entities using a human-like stance, bipedalism, but having these predatory, animalistic features.
Yes, scales, canine teeth, yellow eyes.
It's like the worst of both worlds. The intelligence and posture to observe like a human, but the features of something purely predatory. It's fundamentally unsettling because it breaks our categories of human versus animal.
It really does. So, reflecting on all these accounts, from the clumsy fleshgate in Montana struggling to mimic, to the terrifyingly silent guest in Virginia, the scaly figure in the bay, the gray thing at the window, and this German Shepherd man in Nebraska.
The common threads are there, aren't they? The mimicry, sometimes flawed, sometimes chillingly accurate, the unnatural movement or stillness, the features that are almost human but wrong, eyes, teeth, skin. It leaves you with this really cold feeling, doesn't it? The possibility that things are out there, not just passing through, but watching us, learning.
And the truly disturbing thought that emerges from all this.
Yeah.
If these things are learning, improving your mimicry, how would you know? How could you ever be sure if the mimic you encounter is an inexperienced one with obvious flaws, or one that's gotten really good at it, one that's learned everything about the person it's imitating?
Right. How would you spot the perfect copy? That's the question that keeps you up at night.
Precisely.
Well, that brings us to the end of this dive into some truly unsettling source material. We hope these accounts gave you something to think about.
Stay safe out there.
Indeed. If you found these stories compelling and want to hear more explorations of chilling encounters and true crime, please do us a favor. Like this, share it, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to light.
Thanks again for tuning in. Good night.